Imagine you finally have that job that enables you to be financially stable in life. You married a wonderful spouse and you both purchased your first homes together. So you're ready to move on to the next chapter in life, which is to have a baby. So you start trying. 3 months later, you take a pregnancy test and that test comes back negative. So you start looking on the internet for hacks to have a baby and you start tracking your ovulation cycle. 9 months later, and still that pregnancy test comes back negative. And you begin to wonder, what is wrong with me that I'm not able to have a baby? It is the hardest thing for a woman to go through, not being able to have a baby, especially that since that is what our bodies were built for. I'm 24 years old and I am unable to have a baby. I suffer from primary infertility and it's the hardest thing that I've ever had to deal with. Today, I want to inform you of what primary infertility is and the struggles that are associated with it. To truly understand what primary infertility is, you need to know what infertility means, the various people that are affected by it, and the impacts it can have on people's lives. This topic of infertility is a topic that is not spoken among people very much, and many people do not know what it is. Many people think that infertility is just a struggle for people that are aged 40 and over, but primary infertility is the result of not being able to have a baby, never even having one before. Charles Snyder's Sons says infertility is the failure to become pregnant after about a year of trying many times without using contraceptions. There are so many causes of infertility in women, and one of the symptoms of it is disorders of the fallopian tubes are a common cause of female infertility, accounting for 30 to 40% of cases, from Izumi Imoka et al. Der Krester explains male infertility can be categorized as due to pretesticular, testicular, and post-testicular factors. So that means that men can have problems with themselves, which can cause the woman not being able to have a baby in their sperm. Now you're familiar with what infertility is and what factors are associated with it, so it is important to discuss the many people that go through this. Both men and women can suffer from it, or it can be just the man or the woman, and there is also primary and secondary infertility. According to Ashok Argwa, Aditi Mulgund, Ala Amada, and Michelle Renee Chayet, 50% of infertility cases are due to a solely female factor. Pure male factors accounts for 20 to 30% of the problem, and the remaining 20 to 30% is due to a combination of both male and female factors. Harike Kazi Mikalash et al. Describes how primary infertility is described as the inability to conceive within 1 year of exposure to pregnancy, i.e. being sexually active, using non-contraception, and non-lactating among women aged 15 to 49 years. So that's not being able to have a baby and never having a baby. Similar to infertility. Secondary infertility is when a person has already had a baby or several babies and they want to have another one and it's not successful. Isabel Andrews states between 13 to 20% of birth mothers do not go on to have other children. Not being able to conceive a baby isn't the only problem that is associated with infertility. There are other struggles such as physical or psychological issues, financial issues, and stress on the relationships. S.J. Dyer and M. Patel explains that the cost of infertility is high because not many insurances cover it, and when they do, they cover a minimum amount. He said that infertility cost was double their money income for 50% of women, and for 25%, it was 6 times their monthly earnings. Carl Bell wrote, if 1 in 5 women in the general population is depressed, it's safe to assume that at least 1 in 5 women seeking fertility treatment might also be depressed. It is a hard struggle for anybody to go through infertility. So can you imagine struggling with infertility and not knowing who to talk to? when a family is unable to be made by both couples, it can cause stress on that relationship. Guliz ona Enezhi Kizilakea Beji wrote, marital relations may be damaged by the diagnosis of infertility, since couples are usually confused about the ways of handling this condition. So the stress of infertility treatments, the costs of it, everything that is associated with it can cause stress on the relationship. Now I hope that you are familiar with what infertility is and the effect that it does have on everybody's lives that struggle with it. So to understand what primary infertility is, it is imperative that you know what infertility means and what is associated with it, various people that are affected by it, and the stress that it can cause on people's personal lives. I suffer with primary infertility, and it is the worst thing that I have ever had to deal with. And I hope that after my speech today that you go out today not feeling sorry for me or people that struggle with this, but you have a better understanding of what it is and everything that is associated with it. Thank you.